Hello, everybody, and welcome to session 5 of Infinite Fantasy. I am joined by Not the Whole Cast. Say hello, Not the Whole Cast.
Hello.
Hello, not the whole cast.
I appreciate the attempt. Um, we are getting started a bit late here, and we are down Kristen, aka Agatha. But we're gonna continue on. Last session was mostly spent aboard the Priscillium. You guys had, well, that's not true. There was a fight. You guys had finished trekking through the jungle and encountered on the battlefield a number of undead Imperial soldiers, as well as these not slimes. I always forget what the Final Fantasy term is.
Flans.
Flans, yes. A number of strange flans that seemed to be kind of coalescing around the unspent munitions in the area. And so you were attacked with a lot of fire after being assailed upon by these ghoulish zombies. But apart from Silas, made it out without too many scratches and were picked up by the Priscillium. At which point the captain agreed to take you close to your destination, close-ish to your destination, at least in the same region, by transporting you to the city of Odelheim, or not the city of Odelheim, the territory of Odelheim.
Tarvale.
Tarvale.
Well, that's how I wrote it down.
Yes.
I know I put it down. Yes. But after that, you guys were on the ship. There was a few different conversations that happened. We saw, we learned a little bit more about Agatha and their enormous amounts of music crystals that they have kept, and saw an interesting scene. Learned more about the relationship between Silas and Agatha as well. As we pick back up during the again, it's a few days. Airships are faster than trains, but not at the speed of like a modern plane. They are pretty much smack in the middle of that. So it does take a couple days to get there. What is everybody doing? We're just gonna kind of move through it. What's everybody doing? I know that Jack had a thing, but if you don't want to start, I can go around with everybody else.
I mean, yeah, Zed can start. He's using his surreptitious isolation to kind of try and reach out to the Esper and document like how he's trying to do it through like all the different lenses of magic that he's learned and things like that, with starting with like treating it as if it's a blue magic spirit, and then like moving through all of these different schools from his extensive education of like interactions, and just keeping notes to see like if anything at all changed through each thing.
Okay, go ahead and make a wisdom check with advantage as you're doing this.
When you say a wisdom check, is it an ability check for the meanings of Jack of all trades?
Yes.
Okay, well, I need to work out how to. This might be just missing the thing.
+1, right?
Yep, and also it didn't roll with advantage because, of course, it didn't. Oh yeah, it did. It did factor it in. 16.
Oh, you're flat. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
why I was trying to do it intelligently.
Sorry, and what is your You're just trying to get in contact, or what is the intent here?
I think Zed goes through originally is trying to get into contact because that's how like Zed operates generally. But failing that is trying to like find a way to, if there's a way that he can like tap into that energy, like to either empower a spell or something like that. Just he's literally spending this whole time just experimenting on this connection that he knows is there, but he's never like interacted with before.
Okay. Make an Arcana check as well. Oh,
21.
yeah. You so you're running into the let me back up. You're spending a lot of time in your room kind of focusing on this. You remember like the glowing mark that you all saw on your hands, which is not a tattoo or anything. It's not visible now. But you are kind of concentrating on that, thinking about the voice that you heard and everything, and you can sort of almost feel something, some presence. Again, it whether it's not talking to you because it doesn't want to, or because it is very difficult for it to speak to you, that's a little bit harder for you to tell. But you can get to a point where you are, like if you focus on it, you can see that symbol, that glow appear on your hand, on the back of your hand again, and kind of feel the energies there, the magic there, which is very distinct from your blue magic. Or actually, it's very distinct from like your regular casting magic. It feels somewhat closer to your blue magic, but it's not quite the same. You get the sense that it is kind of subtly boosting your various abilities. You've noticed that already. Like it's just making you like your spells a little bit stronger. You like a little bit quicker in everything, just like a sort of subtle heightened sense. You think that you might be able to do something with this magic, like more concrete or flashily, if everybody were to do this at the same time. Because you can also sense, not that you can like feel their locations or anything so like distinct as that, but you have an understanding when you're doing this concentration of the energies being elsewhere as well nearby.
Okay. Potential. So it's like potentially, if we wanted to try and access it, it would require all 5 of us to be like doing it together.
Yes, it might just be that you're not as well attuned to it.
Yep.
As you could be, and you might be able to speak to the sprite under different circumstances, but that's what you can glean from your kind of meditations on it in your cabin.
Yeah. Zed writes like several page like documentation of everything that he attempted and like the moments that he came to each realization, and then like by the last day he's copying that into like separate copies of that experimentation, and like towards the last hour or so of before we're getting there, he'll like just wander to everybody's room and like give each of them a copy of this like findings, or like maybe he'll call them all together because he doesn't want to interact with each person individually, but we can do that after.
Yeah. What is, I'm just gonna go around Silas, what are you up to during this couple days? Charlie's not here. All right. Roscoe, what are you up to during this couple days?
Oh, so Charlie is here but can't unmute.
Oh, okay.
The worst thing is that I assumed that was a skill issue on Charlie's part.
Maybe.
During the days that Roscoe is stuck on the ship, as I said before, he takes it upon himself to begin to anyone who seems receptive, and also to those who probably don't, to give out tips and boxing lessons to board like crew members, mainly to fill its own time. But as the ship approaches closer to like Sarvel, he eventually kind of retreats to his room, and after scrounging the required materials, would begin to write a couple letters. That takes him quite a bit of time, not due to not being able to have the, like good penmanship or like finesse with like his arms. So he just like writes part of a letter and tosses it, does it again. But eventually has two that he is okay with, addressed to Marta and Adusa Gabont.
Okay. What's you can send this to me separately if you want, but what's the nature of these letters that you're writing?
Nothing implicating what has recently happened.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of in the way that like Zed and him had coached Silas before, by not really warning people to get them involved necessarily. But just specifically to Marta, his mother, it's just a standard like letter of updating her about his previous station, hoping that she's doing well. Pointedly does not ask about his brother or his father. Stuff like that. To Adusa, his sister, specifically saying that he will likely be around. He said it was the Clink. Was that?
Yes, that was the nickname for the bar.
Yeah. That he would probably be floating around there in the coming days, if you wish to see him. Right. Also, again, pointedly not mentioning his brother or father.
Right. Got it. Okay. You spend quite a bit of time probably on that in those letters. Charlie?
Is it working now?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a little faint.
Okay. Silas is going to probably spend his time sort of trying to build up those connections to like know everyone. A good chunk of it is just off scene with Agatha, but also kind of one of the lessons that Roscoe is giving. Silas is sitting there, not quite taking notes in that scholarly way that Zed seems to take them, but just kind of observing, thinking, and then will occasionally offer to help Roscoe out, by helping the pupils out. But it's kind of like this very, I'm going to help you out in this way, mostly because I want to get to know who you are, sort of thing. It's not a particularly sly way of going about it. And then we'll examine the ship itself, that kind of thing.
Silas showed up to one of these Roscoe's board and also likes attention lessons. Clearly, that means that you're interested in learning from Roscoe. So absolutely, Roscoe will include you as one of his makeshift students in this.
Yeah, Silas is just like at that invitation, Silas just laughs for a minute. Like there is a lot of humor in the laugh as he kind of just gestures at himself. Um, but he's pretty decent, if not like at actually doing any of the boxing, at knowing what you're asking. Like he can't execute, but he can show it kind of slowly, like they model it like he would if he was working with a student. Uh,
At one point,
but it
Roscoe
is definitely he is never going to be a boxer, and it's just so deeply, incredibly obvious.
so work on your footwork. At one point, Roscoe does like a shadow, like a mimicry of the punch that he like full send punched you in the face with back at the lab, but like doesn't actually connect this time.
And Silas, when that happens, and presuming there's still students around, or not students, but right, the crew members around,
Crew.
Silas does like launch into a retelling of how we first met, obviously with all the salient details redacted, uh, but with that, uh, just a full drop to the ground, right, of how badly he was injured from one hit.
Oh, so you're retelling the story and also boasting about Roscoe's strength.
Yes.
Okay. The next time Roscoe happens to pass by Zed, he gives Silas his full send. Like, nah, this guy's good. Like,
Zed is like the only time you see Zed, he's like drinking some water, like standing outside his quarters. Like he doesn't go very far from that. He will go to meals once a day, but even that he's like in and out very quickly. And he just kind of looks at you and says, Roscoe, have you been drinking with Silas?
no, actually, I was, well, we have a lot to do over here, so some of the crew, they seemed to be interested in some of my fights, which, of course, you know, and so I was giving some lessons with that, and he stepped in, and I got to know him a bit better, so I think I'm a good judge of character in that regard.
Hang on, where's my thing going?
I'm gonna roll insight on how much how much
Zed's
flattery.
Zed's the best he will ever be on this airship. And he just kind of looks at you in that way that like he's heard other like resistance people and like guards that he's just been like chatting with immediately be like, this guy's all right about him, when he has been like just conning them or lying or something. He's like, well, I will take your endorsement under advisement. I also think he's okay.
And then like in those times where he's not like coordinating, trying to figure out what Roscoe's all about, he will also uh he does like kind of glance in on Zed, but when it's like clearly obvious that Zed is in like full seclusion, the only thing he does really for Zed is occasionally offer, to collect something from the mess for him if he's feeling too bad about it. But he will try to see what Nast is up to and get to know her in the same way if there's any opportunities for that. But if she's kind of closed off, he does the same thing that he does for Zed, where it's just we'll offer something now and then, but it's otherwise completely out of the scene.
I think S is mostly back to her job for the moment on the ship.
Yeah, just kind of. I know we had talked about last time. You're making sure the crew was prepared for you to be taking an extended absence.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
they're professionals. It might not be as well run as if you were there, but they're gonna keep everything in order, as it were. So it's a little bit difficult to leave a ship permanently or for an extended period of time. Somebody who takes care of all of the intricate inner workings of it. But I think with that, you are kind of rapidly approaching the end of your journey. The You're up in the air, so the climate doesn't change that much for you guys. It's always like kind of cold, almost like you're up on a mountain or something like that. But you can see the landscape below you change quite a lot over the course of the couple days, going from more equatorial foresty jungle to a bit more temperate, and then you're starting to peak into colder climes, as well as getting into a little bit rougher terrain. Asta, Holgard will come to talk to you kind of once you're getting close to the last day, and just say, thank you for helping out with the ship and being so professional for all the time that you've been here. Like I said before, we can't really afford to stick around, but if you finish what you're doing in a couple weeks to months, I'm sure we can loop back around and try to get you aboard. Doesn't really sound like this is going to take a short amount of time. So, do you need anything before you leave? We don't have a lot of extra supplies at the moment. There are some things if you will need different clothes, slightly more weaponry.
I think some other little bit of clothing would be good to have some variety. Some clean clothes to keep around. Weaponry, I think most people are okay.
You probably have to ask. You know that Silas doesn't. Silas has like a looted Imperial gun, but otherwise not really a lot. I mean, Roscoe obviously doesn't seem to need weapons, although maybe he'd like a gun. Probably not, though.
Pointedly, Roscoe had still been carrying around this rocket launcher.
Yeah, Roscoe definitely needs new clothes though, because he's probably like torn off some of the stuff, but is kind of in an Imperial uniform still.
Yes. Yeah, so new clothes and maybe a quick perusal through our limited armory, but I don't imagine most of us are okay, I think, on weaponry.
If anybody wants to at this moment, you can pick up a basic weapon of most any type, unless you want. Yeah. A basic weapon of most any type. If it's not a basic weapon, don't ask for it. Don't take it.
Silas will
They will also offer you clothing. It's just like workman's like overalls and pretty plain shirts and stuff. Nothing crazy. The ones that they have are probably a little bit small for Roscoe, but still fits.
That's fine. Roscoe will put on whatever is given. We'll take it because he was recognized. Probably needs to get out of the uniform that it's in. The next time you see Roscoe, it's in the he's modified it to where the deep V before was more a choice is now a necessity due to the size of the clothing, and it is now missing both entire sleeves.
No seamstress, but if you would like sleeves, I think I could manage that.
Oh no, I'm fine.
Assuming this is happening towards the end of the time when everyone's come together and Zed's walked everyone through the stuff that he discovered, Zed says, I do have some skill in weaving and tailoring if you'd like your sleeve stitches done so they look less frayed and more intentional.
Yeah, I would take you up on that.
He'll do it while we're talking. He just pulls out a needle and thread and just re-stitches like a hem that Roscoe presumably just ripped apart with his bare hands.
They go from being scissor cut to like having an actual edge seam.
I will. Can I make a Weaver's Tools roll to see if I can stitch Roscoe's full name into the hem?
Sure.
So his sleeves say Roscoe Cabot around his arm, like where the gap is.
Like in a different color, or how obvious is this?
In whatever color he's. So like, if the shirt is like a light brownish cream, he's using like a slightly darker brownish cream.
Okay, so it's
The point of hemming is to make it look good,
right,
but you'd have to be like
it's
real
not,
close to Roscoe to see it.
It's not like black on white. It's
No.
sure, that's fine. I think that makes it slightly harder, but not too difficult. It's good.
Is it intelligence or dexterity?
Probably dexterity.
All right, this will be -1.
Well,
Oh, don't worry about it. I'm just the greatest person on this airship.
it looks.
Can we never leave this airship?
It looks excellent. Almost like machine manufactured. By how precise it is.
Also gets a couple of test flexes around like, oh, you do good work.
Is this a full like off the shoulder, or is it just like where's the sleeve at here? Is it wife beater energy?
Specifically, it's like the strangling like the bicep like length.
Yeah, that's what I was
Okay.
picturing.
Like,
Said it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Like really, like it's got a little bit of shoulder
Yeah.
on the arm, but not a lot.
it's just enough resistance that if there is a flexing motion to go on, everyone in the room thinks, is it going to rip?
Sure. All right. You're now outfitted a little bit differently. I think everybody else's clothes are more or less fine, but they do offer you like basically some spare stuff in a pinch.
Yeah.
If it
Silas
becomes
just
relevant.
definitely takes a set of work clothes for himself, and if Agatha does not take a set of work clothes, actually just tucks away a set of work clothes in her size.
I feel like Agatha would take as much shit as they can.
I suspect so. I'm
Out
just
of-
packing up in case Kristen decides next time. No.
Just so I know, in game, because I think Zed would know.
Yes.
Going into a new city in Imperial territory, if he just goes to like a bank, like he has some money that he can access, I assume.
Yeah, you definitely do have like accounts.
Yeah.
It's
Presumably, there's also the element of risk of like going to the bank to.
right. There are some that you've one account that's pretty easy for you to access. No issues. You have other accounts that are probably have more money on them, but carry more risk.
Just so I know that Zed can go get like some gil and just buy an outfit here rather than taking this workman's outfit that he doesn't
Yeah.
want. Great.
For sure.
Okay. Yeah, so Zed, I think says to everyone, well, I know for Roscoe, but Asta, have you been to Sarvale for an extended stop before?
Longest you've ever been here has been just a few days, and most of that time was spent repairing the ship if I was here.
And Zed doesn't ask Silas and Agatha, but kind of looks for a moment at Silas so that Silas could say yes, he's been here, if he has.
What kind of place is this? Is this a place that it would be like? I guess I need to know more about this area. I think. Answer that.
It's Sarvale is like an industrial town. It is like there's like mining nearby that supplies a lot of like heavy industry. It's got like Um, the vibe is like cold industrial city. It definitely on the outskirts has some nicer areas, but it is like there are smog in the air, but like there is a big nightlife, a slightly seedier side, but most people day to day go to the factory and go to work producing like raw goods or like they do a lot of arms production here. And not that isn't a post-empire thing. They have like historically done a lot of arms production here.
Okay. I've been here, but I would not say as I did not have a lot of time for touring. One of the lords I worked for did not quite trust his child alone while he was visiting to monitor a few of the factories. And I was employed during the time to keep the child from enjoying the nightlife.
Zed chuckles a little bit and says, "Yes, some lords can be like that." Well, Roscoe, if you wanted to go to visit your manager, we could get the lay of the land around Sarvale and Odelheim as a whole while you do that.
That sounds fine. Granted, Mongogo would be happy to meet any of you, but for the long and short of it, Sarvale essentially think of like a really old coal engine that gets newer as you get closer in. But then if you get the fuck away from it, then it gets kind of uppity.
Makes sense.
Looks at you, Zed. You probably prefer the uppity parts.
Zed blinks. Zed blinks slowly at like trying to comprehend the metaphor, and then says, "Perhaps the uppity parts of most cities are not my favorite places, but perhaps I can do a show at this stomping ground of yours. People tend to talk to storytellers and minstrels once they've enjoyed the show."
Actually, a question for you, Andrew. Is there anything that Roscoe would realistically know that if he knows that the group might be splitting somewhat, that he should warn the others about regarding Sarville?
There are definitely like gangs here. They're probably gonna leave most people who seem like tourists alone. But like pickpockets and stuff are a thing. It is Imperial controlled, right? So there is an Imperial presence.
Mhm.
That's something to be aware of. But unless they're like wandering into random places, they're not going to get like knifed or anything.
Yeah, just watch out for the odd ruffian here and there. There's definitely enough around. The standards kind of dropped as far as the gods when the Empire took over.
Understood. Silas gives a long look over towards Agatha in that moment.
It just shrugs like, "What? I'm not going to do nothing. You need to know about."
We'll be mindful.
Well, if anyone
All right,
like
how are we
to
splitting?
collect some clothes and weapons, Captain Horgard has let you do that.
Yeah, this does to collect a. I'm gonna skin
We
a mace as a baton.
we don't need to split up. We can all go to the place that Roscoe's going. There's always a good way to get information going to the kind of places Roscoe frequents.
Silas will fall into the group then.
Yeah, you
Assuming we're going to a place that Roscoe frequents, Silas kind of adjusts his attire to look less like less pent up, more of a relaxed sort of I'm going out on the town kind of thing.
Okay. You guys head into the. Well, first you all land. You all can kind of see the city as you're coming in. It's again pretty built up. Some smog, very industrialized. It is cold here. It's summertime, so it's not too bad, but colder region. As you are getting off, you can see the airship port is run pretty well here. The crew begins to go do their things, and you kind of blend in with everybody leaving. Can I get? Actually, I'm just gonna say that probably Silas. Not that. Silas, you probably clock that like on the screens, because there are a number of like different screens up in the terminal, like at an airport. Some of them playing the news. You do see like scrawling. One of the headlines is terrorist attack in Solness leaves like 30 dead, over 100 injured. Protests ongoing. And the
Yeah,
kind of aerial camera there is obviously like the hole in the research facility.
Yeah, when Silas sees that, I don't think he says anything about it, but like his exhale is enough that probably anybody else who's paying attention will follow like where he's staring at, and he's kind of jaw clenched, looking at those numbers.
Zed was not paying attention.
Yeah, nobody else
Do we need
picked up on this just because it's like you have a plan. It's off on the side.
Do we need ID to get through into the surveil?
So luckily, you don't, because you are on like a registered cargo crew. You're kind of going out a separate exit. But if you want to board any kind of regular airship out of here, you are probably going to need an identification. Probably at least.
Just really a problem for Silas and Agatha, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a slight problem probably for Roscoe as well, since the big one that he has is
That's true.
the Imperial one. But you definitely have backups, so you're fine. And to your knowledge, Asta's doesn't have a problem.
Yep. I think as we're walking, Zed will say to Roscoe, can the route you're taking us go past a bank?
Yeah, sure. There's enough of those around.
He nods and says, one of the things that the Empire loves. It's banking.
It's like Roscoe probably hadn't thought about it too much. Don't really think about the bank because he had just had the thought of like, oh, I can probably get some money out. He probably can't access his accounts right now, can he? The Empire is
You're
after-
not sure. You're not sure what's up with that because you are probably either presumed dead or deserting.
Roscoe's files that away for later.
You don't. Yeah, you don't know what information because you killed the kill team that came after you. So you don't know. But you also don't know how they found you, so you're not sure what information they have about you all as a group or individuals in connection to the what happened at the facility.
Roscoe will try and as I'd asked, find a good path to like past a bank on the way to this back alley watering hole. Different frequents, though will refrain from attempting to do any business himself.
So it just goes in and quickly withdraws like 15% of whatever's in his like easy to access account.
Right. I'll say that you can probably pull like 2,000 gil, which is enough money to buy. Not enough money to buy like, you know, a car or anything crazy, unless it was like a really rundown one. But definitely like new outfits, enough food and lodging for a month. Maybe not for all 5 of you, but it's a sizable amount of money.
Zed looks largely the same as he did in Solness, but he's like slowly kind of adjusted his cloak to look more like the Odelheim style. And he doesn't carry a weapon. He just like has slung to his hip the like neck of his electric dulcimer. And he walks much more like someone that he kind of walks and like will wave at people and like smile at like everybody, which is not what he normally would be doing. But yeah, he doesn't need an outfit for today, just to have in case.
The thing on whenever our business is done at the bank and stuff. Is there like a public like post box?
Yeah, there's tons of them. Like, you know,
Okay.
if you spend some time walking around, you'll eventually see one.
Yep. Roscoe will not enough to get off the beaten path, but will be on the lookout for one. And as soon as he does pass one, we'll reach a hand past into the shirt, past the deep V, pull out 2 letters, put them in. But otherwise, we'll continue on.
Yeah. Silas probably clocks that and just kind of gives you like a faint smile, and says, "That reminds me, I need to find a way to purchase wine for dear old dad."
Wouldn't recommend any of the labels around here, produced here anyway. Unless you like
No, it
earthy
doesn't.
tones.
No, it
Zed,
needs to be. Go ahead.
Zed kind of turns and I think remembers you asked us like about this previously, right?
Yeah, like where we're gonna buy
Um,
wine that's presumably
yeah.
from where we went and send it.
Zed's like waving at a reasonably attractive, like passing woman who's going about her shopping, and just kind of absently says, almost any wine from that region doesn't exist. The vineyards were razed to the ground. And he like does a finger guns at a little kid.
Silas wrinkles his nose and hums a bit and says, "Yes, my father doesn't have that expensive of taste, I suppose. But he's
It's a fairly good one. It's still the Obsidian Reserve if you can afford it.
They also do like glass work of like glass figurines. The artisans remain not any easier to get, but if you want the ruse to be completed properly, that's what I would find.
a figurine." My mother used to collect figurines. I think he would complain, but he would put it up anyway. Which you'd think they'd have left the vineyard standing. Seems like it would turn a profit.
Yes, but you'd think that they would have left. And then he kind of trails off a little bit and he says, much of the area standing, and they didn't.
So is there
Either
something
way,
more profitable than the vineyards in the area?
Mines.
I think we're talking about a place that isn't here.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're
my
we're
bad.
talking about the place that
Silas's
Zed
cover.
suggested Silas is covered.
Oh,
and
that's
Zed
right.
kind of says,
Roscoe and his mine thinks everywhere has mines.
I think the most valuable thing the Empire got from their endeavors was instilling fear. But who am I to know what the Empire is truly after at any given time?
You guys are kind of walking, having this conversation as above you, like a train, like a metro train, kind of rattles up on some risers, and continue on through the city. Silas, if you would like to make me an investigation check to find wine or something appropriate, you may.
Sure. I'll be keeping an eye out for things where there are like items that are imports that I could possibly have like sent in a way that makes it seem like it came from elsewhere. Otherwise, I'll do some kind of order service if I can find a solution to that later on. Let's see. I guess keeping a particular eye out for like small stalls where the people look out of place, right? Like they don't.
I'll help you by like pointing out stuff that is regionally appropriate for that area.
Sorry, it's being a little slow. I'm trying to like switch over to that tab, and it's just like, maybe? You really want to? Are you sure? There you go. Yeah, it's going great for me.
I mean, you
Give
can
it
have
advantage.
advantages. I helped you.
Okay.
This could be a one for a second. Okay.
It really was close.
Yeah, you're able to find something that's like, somewhat appropriate. Even though I think it's probably one of those things where it's like, even though those vineyards burned down, there's still a company out there using that branding, right? So it's like off champagne. not real champagne, but it's like it is being sold as if it were the genuine kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because
And
nobody makes that
Silas doesn't
anymore.
give a fuck about the actual provenance. He is. It'll probably please him a little bit to send his father something that either slightly annoys his father or that his father is like, "Ah, you did this for me," and it's not the quite correct thing to. So
Right. Yeah.
Zed finds that distasteful, but he does not show that on his face.
As you guys are kind of moving through the city, you're kind of again passing by. It's probably daytime here, so and when you get up at the airship ports and like a little bit of a nice part of the city, so it's mostly people just going about their business, market stalls. As you are following the lead that Roscoe is setting, you do kind of move into the boundary area where it starts to become more of the industrialized part of the city. People are becoming like sootier on the face. You're seeing people that are on lunch shift. They look pretty tired. Seem to be working pretty hard. And you're also kind of heading down a little bit from like the upper layers of the city into the lower layers of the city. You probably take at least one rail line to get there as it kind of hums along before you end up. Yes, go ahead.
I was going to just real quick ask if has there been any noticeable like recognition from people? Because Roscoe, aside from the new outfit, still looks like Roscoe.
I think if you haven't made like any attempts to again hide yourself, you just look at yourself. People are noticing you, but you haven't had a lot of people approach you. And I think the people who are noticing you that recognize you are probably making faces at you more than seeming like enamored for reasons which you know.
Yep.
So Zed probably picks up on this, that the general populace that recognizes Roscoe does not seem very pleased with him.
Can I roll history / having potentially read Roscoe's file
Sure.
about why this would be? Oh my god, why is this happening? Hang on, my thing's being really weird. I don't know if that's going to roll properly. It
Roll
should be +9, so 26.
Okay, yeah. You meant to roll history. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, just my thing was popping out the tooltip for each thing, so I just had to guess where history was.
Right. Odelheim had a pretty strong military, and they fought for a while against the Empire, and anti-imperial sentiment is still riding pretty strong here, despite the fact that they are responsible for creating a lot of like the imperial war engine at the moment. When Roscoe like turncoated in the eyes of the public, he lost a lot of respectability in his hometown. And maybe yeah, probably it's going to be, imagine it's going to be a little bit of a rough time for Roscoe. You don't know how many people that he grew up with still like him, despite the fact that he is part of the resistance or in a resistance. So,
Zed notes all that, but kind of like leaves it to Roscoe to deal with unless like something very pointed happens, at which point he will reevaluate. But like he's just kind of like remembering that from Roscoe's file and like what he knows from a Wilhelm surveil and filing it away.
As you are getting closer to, you're heading straight to Clink's, right?
Yeah, that's where Roscoe's gone.
As you're getting closer, you eventually come up to the area where it is. It's kind of situated between like what seems to be like a abandoned or defunct plant of some kind, assembly plant, and an in business like scrap refinery of some kind. You can see like the glow of Magitech and everything over there. To everybody else's perspective, Roscoe's like turning down an alley that seems to be like just steam. There's like a pipe that's just outletting, and you kind of have to just walk through it. It's not the most pleasant thing. But when you come out the other side, you all can see a glowing neon sign that illuminates a pair of guards below it. The sign is like a pair of wrenches that are like going from being like almost like they're hitting each other. It goes from like back to hitting. And the two guards, they're pretty big bouncers. Like maybe ex-soldiers, dock workers, laborers. Hard to say, but they're kind of standing in front of this iron door as you all approach. One of them looks down or looks over at the group, not down at Roscoe, and says, "It's the kid."
If Roscoe doesn't immediately say something,
affronted scoff.
If Roscoe doesn't like immediately
Like-
jump in,
I say, like, is it? This is directed at Agatha, I'm assuming.
Yeah, for sure.
Zed will say, "No, I mean if it seems like Roscoe's going to say something, Zed will let Roscoe handle it because he assumes that Roscoe knows this place."
Yeah, Roscoe, seeing that they immediately are questioning Agatha being here, will like impose himself in the view of the bouncer. Just a tag along. And I know, as sturdy as it is, you do serve water, so.
Yeah, for rinsing your mouth out during a fight.
Didn't say it was good water.
Well, can't say I'm glad to see you, Roscoe, but I suppose you can come in. I'll knock on the door behind them as you see somebody else opens it up.
And shit. Gives him, Roscoe will give him a pat on the shoulder, but will do so with enough force that, like, the knees kind of bounce a little bit.
As you head inside, it is fairly dimly lit in here. There's like a bunch of hanging lamps that are like the shaded kind that are very like harsh cast. It seems like this room has, or this whole building perhaps, but definitely this room was like repurposed from something else. There's a bunch of like exposed wiring like from the walls and like the vents and stuff up above. The lights occasionally like one of them will like flicker slightly. It smells of like oil, sweat, like slightly ozony. Probably not the best. And you can hear this like distant clink, 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 clink of some kind of large machine that is just running. It's not enough that it is like unbearable. And like if you've been here a lot, you probably wouldn't even notice it. But when you're walking in for the first time, you're wondering why anybody would want to drink in a place with like this annoying background sound. It's a little bit not empty, but you get the sense that this place gets much busier at night. There's like your few daytime drinkers at the bar, a couple people sitting in what is the closest to the lounge area. You can also see there's an elevator, like a very old school, like exposed elevator that leads down another floor that has another guard standing next to it. Roscoe, you do also see a very familiar face, or at least the back of one. Their kind of red puff sticking up in the air behind them as they're sitting at one of the Moogle-sized chairs at the bar, kind of leaning over a drink at the moment.
Then Roscoe will immediately make a beeline for them, and upon getting close enough, will just simply say, "Come on, go!" and slap on the back.
You like nearly knock him off the chair. He has to like flap his little black wings to like right himself. Roscoe, hey, how's it going? I was very surprised to get that message from you.
Silas just kind of holds up his like hand slightly to indicate who it came from.
And looks over
Yes,
and he says, "Oh, that's what's your name? Cygris, yes. Always happy to meet a fellow friend of Roscoe's."
Silas just smiles. Doesn't really bother to correct him because the first time he called him Silence, and the second time he's called him Cygris, and it feels like it will be a wasted effort. Pleasure to meet you as well.
He will reach out a small hand to shake yours.
Silas does. And then kind of like
Zed-
leans back and just
So-
tucks his hands in his pockets and looks at the others.
Zed has wandered off to the bar to get drinks. What's the legality for drinking age in Surveil / the Empire?
It's 18.
Is Agatha 18? Does
Does
Zed know?
Agatha is 18, but perhaps, they are exactly 18, I think. So
Great. Zed kind of approaches the barkeeper and like steps up to the bar and like leans on it with his dulcimer neck in his hand, kind of tapping on it, and says, "I don't suppose you're in the market for some entertainment for the evening. I'm very competitively priced. You may have heard of me. Rays Banyan, extraordinaire storyteller, minstrel.
this is to the
I'm quite
bartender.
renowned across the Empire." Yeah.
The bartender kind of looks at you. He's this big, broad-shouldered guy. He has Magitech hands that are they're not as nice as Roscoe's. They are flashier, if that makes sense. They're like plated in like a gold alloy almost. Like the vibe is guy with gold tooth. He says, kind of have our own entertainment downstairs, but if you want to play, gestures, we can make a little stage over there. Usually it's mostly dancers, but the guys might like something different.
Zed nods and says, well, how about this, since it's not normally what you do up here? I'll play for a free meal and 1 gil for every drink you sell in the last 10 minutes of my performance.
I think so. For a minute. About meal, drinks, and 50 gil.
Zed thinks about it and kind of shrugs and says, sure. That's fine.
I'd rather just know how much I'm
and-
paying.
Sure. That makes sense. And Zed, like, he says it like he cares, but in reality he doesn't at all, because all he's going to do is try and get as many people like drunk and willing to be more talkative anyway. So like he
Right.
might have made less money, he might have made more money. He doesn't care about the money. And he says, okay. And he points at like a pretty cheap, like not the cheapest bottle of whiskey you can possibly get, but the second cheapest. He goes, can I get that? And 6 glasses.
All right. He will pull up 6 glasses and pour like out very expertly out into each of them like a appropriate shot amount. Just with the eyeballing it. While that's happening, Mongogo will say, "So, Kupo, what's bringing you to our fair city once more?"
Well, I would say Mongogo knows. I think is one of the only associates Roscoe has that actually knows that he was part of the resistance.
Yeah. I mean,
Things got complicated on my last deployment, to the point that I am either considered dead or AWOL.
well, I mean, in Mongogo's opinion, that's all for the best. I don't know why I went southern there for a second. He says, some of your friends, they like to hang out. Usually sit over there. He points at one of the tables in the area. They might be able to help you.
Does he mean like resistance people? I'm assuming.
That seems to be the implication. Yeah.
Got it. I'll definitely look into that. Have you been doing well? I haven't seen you since the last celebrity bouts they put together.
Hey, business is business. He'll like make a show of flashing his sunglasses a little bit to catch the light.
Well, glad to see that you're still in good spirits. Has there been any news I should be aware of regarding? Kind of, it's a loose gesture at just the fact that he's in, like, Sarvel.
He Mongogo will reach into like his leather jacket to fish for a pocket and pull out a ticket, which is comically large in his hands, and kind of slide it across the table to you and say, hey, you know, not too much, but there's a fight tonight downstairs. A lot of that's gone a little underground these days. You know, the arenas. Well, not everybody likes to give the Empire their taxes. So we try to keep things on the down low a little bit. Cash. But things is things around here. Hasn't changed too much. Maybe not enough. The what's his name? Governor Cadrin. He's Empire, but not the worst, I suppose. He cares about the city in as much as it makes shit that the Empire wants. You probably saw his picture. He's got some banners, you know, fluttering outside the buildings. And you do remember seeing like the kind of doesn't process in your mind most of the time, but there were like outside the airship port some banners of like a well-dressed older gentleman that was like, you're like, oh, imperial official, imperial whatever banner. Didn't really think that much of it.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, you looking fit. I'm not gonna lie. You want to get in? I mean, last minute, but we could arrange some fights if you're gonna be here for a while. They're underground anyways, so you don't gotta worry. You know, we could try to frame it as the champ making a comeback.
Roscoe looked like he was about to say no. He included the word champ. As I kind of like stroking his chin a bit. What is everyone else doing right now?
Zed
Ass was
is
probably at the bar.
Zeb was talking with some people.
well. Zed is probably like 5 seconds away from depositing 6 whiskeys on the table. So you probably look around.
Gotcha.
He's like walking over with like a bunch of shot amounts of whiskey, but in bigger glasses.
Gotcha.
All right, audible.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Silas is, whenever you start stroking your chin, is going to mutter, yeah, but should you remain dead?
No. See, these are underground fights.
Silas just rolls his eye.
Nobody talks about it. That's the whole point.
Ah, the first rule. Yeah. So how's it a comeback then?
Well, the people in the know, Kupo, you have to understand, they in the know.
Silas just looks up as Zed appears, and like just indicates Mongogo. As
Zed inclines his head and says like the equivalent of hello and good health in Moogle to Mongogo, and
Hey,
puts the whiskey down in front of him.
he'll take it slowly, like the vibe is child with sippy cup. And, big hands go around large glass, or small hands go around large glass, and kind of tips it over carefully. Ugh.
I give one to everybody else as well.
Well, you see, Kupo, the way Mongogo sees it, the Empire didn't come around you. But I can't find his voice anymore. This wouldn't bother me. It's probably lost my train of thought as well. He basically says that it's like what he says is that the Empire doesn't come around here. If you don't want anybody to know you're here, that's different. But if you're worried about Imperial things, it's not really an issue, at least as far as the fights are concerned and the bar. But that's up to you guys.
And then I would be interested, but I think Rothko actually, if Zed had come back, is giving Zed a look of just like, what is our timetable here?
Zed kind of thinks for a second, says, well, I was thinking that we would head off tomorrow, but if you want to give some people a chance to take a shot at the hometown hero, Zed says, I think with full understanding of the fact that Roscoe is not that.
Yeah.
It'll get more people here. We can drop some heavy hints that we're traveling south from here instead of our actual destination. Could be, if they're looking specifically for you, eventually a good way to misdirect them.
I'll do it.
Hey, that's what I like. So, well, he thinks for a moment. He says, Kupo, give me maybe 1-2 days. We'll have a fight.
Roscoe will nod. That kind of lines up with what they were saying. In the meantime, I'll try to speak with those friends you mentioned.
Yeah, your message didn't really mention why you came. There, any way that Mongogo can aid you.
Well, if there's anyone in the world that Roscoe can trust, it's Mongogo. So Roscoe will kind of gesture to float closer. And once he does, we'll inform him loosely, kind of just the of what happened in the facility, not going into super extensive detail, but found some new Imperial tech, seemed to be trying to do something with an Esper. They broke it. Esper got out. Seems to have done something to all of them. And now they're looking for another one to try to keep out of the Empire's hands.
while this
shouldn't
conversation is happening, Silas is like looking around, keeping his eye out for like anybody who's hanging out too close.
Make a perception check. Mongogo will say, Kupo, that's way too big for me, but if you need a vehicle, transportation, you need to get outside the city, that I could help you with.
Transportation and getting outside the city will be useful.
You just tell good old Mongogo when you need it.
Thank you, friend.
It will two hand raise the glass to you to clink.
Yeah, Roscoe will.
He'll down the rest of his drink. Putting it on the table.
Zed, after that moment, kind of looks at Roscoe and says, "Are the friends nearby work colleagues?" He says in a way that, like, everybody at this table knows that he means resistance members, but he couldn't think of how to put it.
Yes. Mongogo was just telling me that some colleagues of us frequent here.
Zed,
Oh,
Zed gives a
nice to meet
uncharacteristic.
you, Kupu. And I'll hold out his hand to Zed.
Yeah, Zed shakes his hand and says, "And you?" Roscoe has talked. And he kind of thinks about how much Roscoe has actually mentioned Mongogo. I assume he comes up quite a lot in some stories.
Yes.
It's like, Roscoe has talked at length about the things that you and he have gotten up to.
Hey, you know, we go way back.
Zed grins and goes, "I'm a Rays. You may have heard of me."
Yeah, I think. Kind of just nods. Is like thinking. Oh, music.
And sometimes stories, but places like this, music makes more sense.
And he'll kind of reiterate and say, yeah, those friends sit over there most of the time.
I think Zed just looks at Roscoe and says, "Are these the kind of friends that just you and I should reacquaint ourselves with, or should we bring our tag-alongs?"
I think maybe a more private first meeting in case, new faces get people antsy sometimes.
Said Larson says, "At least they should."
I think I should take offense to being called a tag along, but this is good whiskey, so I'll take it.
Well, you are
Silas says,
you are
certainly
a
one of those
differing
statements
level
are
of
true.
tag-along.
There's levels to
Zed's,
that.
Zed's knowledge of Asta is that Asta is like resistance adjacent, but not in the like core resistance that he and Roscoe are part of, right?
Yeah.
So it goes. Zed just puts down like enough money for another bottle of that whiskey in front of Asta and says, "Well, feel free to top everyone up." He kind of looks to see how Agatha's handling the whiskey and then just moves on with his life.
which I think from how Mongogo phrased it, you would probably understand is probably the case with these people at the bar as well. They're probably not.
They're resistance adjacent.
Yeah, they're in they're in a resistance group, but they are not a part of your like wider cell organization. But potentially still willing to help.
Like a gesture for Roscoe to head over. Like to
Yeah, right.
to lead the way.
Bill will do so. Before doing so, if they look like they have or wait, hold on. Are the people on Gogo pointed out to Roscoe at like a table, or are we speaking to like other people at the bar that seem to be also adjacent? Maybe I'm confused.
So he pointed to a table that was currently empty. Like they'll be here later. That's where they sit.
Zed will not gesture for Roscoe to head over. Sorry, I misunderstood.
That's fair. Conversation. Yeah, it's kind of it's early for the bar because you arrived like in the morning sometime, did a few things, and then went here. So you guys are free to like leave and come back or just hang out. But not a lot is going on for at least a few more hours.
Zed will ask Asta and say, do you need anything in the town that you weren't able to get aboard your ship for your various explosives?
Nothing I couldn't source myself, but if you find anything interesting, I'd be happy to tinker with it.
I'm going to go buy new clothes. I was wondering if you'd like to accompany me. He changes
Absolutely.
tact immediately from being subtle at all. All right. Roscoe, you're in charge of making sure that nobody dies.
Thumbs up.
Why does that feel like a tall order with this group?
Agatha actively doing
Zed
something else at
shrugs.
the moment.
But yeah, I think Zed will go get clothes, but use it as an opportunity to have a chat with Asta.
The two of you leave off to go get some clothes. Are the other two just hanging out? I think Agatha is going to stick close to Silas for the moment.
Yeah, Silas doesn't
Yeah.
mind
Yeah, Roscoe will stay
following
and catch up
around
with Mongogo. He'll stay and catch up with Mongogo for a bit.
Okay, so we'll focus on Zed. Two of you head out, moving kind of back into more in the area you were previously, the more like commercial parts of the city. Again, fairly quiet during the daytime. A lot of people at work, various other things, which is good for you. But you can pretty freely go shopping, picking up some regionally
Zed's
appropriate
looking for something
clothing.
that is like more. Actually, he's probably looking for something that's more suited to Odelheim, and then something that's like more generically like Empire fashion, because he's wearing still his stuff, like his under his coat he's wearing like Zale's clothes, and
Yeah.
he kind of hates them.
Yeah.
So he's like looking for a couple of things, but he'll as he's wandering in and out of shops and things, we'll say to Asta, so did you find yourself in our area of expertise because of your service on the Priscillium? Or was there another like reason that led you down this path?
always had a little bit of a rebellious streak. Decided to get out of my hometown as soon as I was of age. Bounced around some ships, not doing a good job. Ended up on the Brazilium and got checked real fast. Kind of just ran from there.
Zed nods and says, well, I'm glad that you have chosen to leave your post and come with us. I think it would have been harder based on what I learned of the Esper if we left one behind.
Yeah, and not like we don't have crew members come and go, so my apprentice and the other mechanic can have things well in hand while I'm gone.
Zed nods. He's like carrying a bag, just closing it, kind of struggling to juggle a slightly bigger bag and stuff, and just feeling a bit awkward about it. And says, well, what do you make of everything with the Esper? Do you think it's something that we can expect to get a stronger bond with?
I don't see why we couldn't. Obviously, we are all bonded together as a group now and have gained some sort of power from this being. How it might further affect us, I could not tell you, as it is obviously not in my realm of expertise in any way. But certainly, some things may change over time, and as we reach for them, I would imagine.
Zed nods and says, well, I think I mostly just wanted to say if you need anything, let me know. I know that leaving a post you've served for some time can be difficult.
I've done it before. I broke a leg in a fight once, so I was landbound for 2 months while that healed.
How did you break your leg in a fight specifically?
I got stepped on. It was a very windy day.
You watch Zed's face actually go through like a series of like, what? Wait, so it was on the airship and something stepped on your leg because it was windy?
Yeah, they were pirates. She offers no further information.
Zed Zed truly thinks about whether or not he should find more information about this because that feels like an interesting story, and then it's just like, well, Bastard doesn't want to be forthcoming. That's fine.
But no, I appreciate the concern, but it is fine.
Zed chuckles a little bit and says, I have been prepared to die in service of the Resistance since I joined, however long ago. And I get the impression that Roscoe is the same, but neither you, Silas, nor Agatha made such a choice. So I feel somewhat responsible for your continued well-being.
I understand. I am my own woman and my own adult. I can make my own choices. I chose to stay on the Brazilium when I learned that Holgard is doing transport for not always above board things. I'm in.
Zed Sid just nods. Says, well, good. And we'll continue shopping and kind of like tell you vague things about Odelheim and Sarvale and things. If As is not interested in talking about something in particular, he'll just like provide you with vague, like, this is a place that this happened in the war.
Asa will also probably buy a couple of new shirt or two and some new pants, because half the time when she makes stuff that ruins her own clothes.
I'll also buy a bunch of rations, like to take
A
with
bunch-
us inside.
A bunch of rations.
Rations.
I
Take with
also
us
heard
inside
what you
lunch.
heard, Charlie.
Okay. But yeah, then
I
we'll
heard
just-
potions, so
potions easily available in Final Fantasy world.
mhm.
That
Uh,
don't think about them.
Sure, you could spend like a couple hundred on rations for that will keep you good for a couple weeks. Easily. You can buy potions if you want. They are fairly available. Some of the more powerful ones are not.
What
The Imperial
what-
keeps
what
those
kind
from
of price?
themselves. They're like for like a healing potion would run you like 200 gil. A Phoenix down would be 100. But those will just stabilize you at 0.
Yeah.
Just as like a immediate thing. There's no check required.
No, I think Zed's not gonna buy healing potions. He has so much just ambient healing. So. But yeah, we'll head back after doing that. I took off 200 GP for the clothes. So let me know if I should take off more.
That's fine. That's an appropriate amount.
Silas is doing that thing with Mongogo and Roscoe, where he asks Mongogo like, "Oh, tell me about how you two met." Those kinds of things where, like, not quite obviously probing to see if he can get a story that makes Roscoe exasperated, but a little bit like with that like wink, like look over at him like he's talking to somebody's parents or friend that might throw them under the bus here and there.
I'm sure there's plenty of those.
And then returns his own of, well, let me tell you how I met Roscoe.
Yes, I punched him very hard in the face.
Yeah.
He got back up. It was surprising.
Barely.
Well, you see, the thing is, Mongogo may be small, but Mongogo can take many hits. The fur.
The fur.
Just a hard cut of Roscoe never practiced boxing with like someone holding the like pads. It has just been boxing Mongogo.
Yeah. It's not this. Instead of a speedball, it's Mongogo hanging upside down, just been like, wah, 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 wah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
But I think other than that, some time passes. The bar begins to slowly fill up with people coming off shift or just heading there because it starts to become nighttime. It's a slow trickle to the point where you don't quite realize that the bar is it's like loud until you like suddenly you're like, oh wow, it's like roaring with people talking here. as you go to look up from the conversation that you're having. At some point, Zed asked to return with some more supplies in tow. Zed having heavily changed his outfit to be more in line with what everybody else in Odelheim is wearing. We get the first of many alternate outfits for Zed's character model.
Yeah, it's kind of like black pants with like they're a little bit baggier at the top, and there's like one belt, and then a really tight, because he's quite lean despite looking a bit broader with the cloak, quite a tight black outfit, and then like down the arms, like just ringlets of fabric that have like they kind of look like bracelets, but they're all connected by like very thin thread. It's a very weird style. Zed's not the biggest fan of it. But it explains, I think, why Roscoe has no sleeves. Because why would you ever choose these sleeves?
Oh, you had a good shopping trip.
Yes, I got to throw out the other clothes. There's a lot of good things about Solness. Your stylistic choices are not one of them.
Silas
I
looks
don't-
down at his own
Yeah.
clothing and shrugs.
I would argue that neither is Odelheim's.
No. Zed holds up a weird sleeve.
Seems like he'd get a bit tangled.
Except that was the point, that you just had to work on your posture until you didn't get hung up on every door.
Silas looks right at your lack of sleeves and says, did you master that or bypass it?
Like to think overcame.
Oh,
We'll look to Zed. Our friends haven't shown up yet.
Mm. Good to know that the resistance is hard to find and unreliable everywhere.
The table is
He
still
kinda looks
empty,
at the-
despite it being much busier. So it
Yeah.
definitely seems to be like people know not to sit there.
He looks at the other three like he's disparaging the resistance that like he is a part of. But he kind of looks at the other three with an intimation that like, yeah, I can make fun of them because they're my resistance. um, it's like, well, at some point I have to perform, and I'm going to. He kind of says to Roscoe, "Do that one where everybody drinks a lot."
The one where everybody drinks a lot.
It's basically Final Fantasy tub thumping.
Okay.
But it goes for like 8 minutes, so people have time to get 2 drinks in the duration of the song.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, you were really trying to milk it.
It's a real attempt to get people drunk. To
Sure.
enough
Go
to,
ahead and
like,
make a
go well
performance
together.
check.
27.
Yeah. Jeez.
People are
I took expertise.
definitely getting. I mean, people come here for sure to drink. So you're just aiding that process along by playing like drinking songs and drinking music.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, we gotta take a drink now because the song says we have to. So take a drink. And it seems very quickly that the bar is getting not quite rowdy, but definitely loose, we'll say. Probably towards the end of your set, you see a few people come in and take that table that you've kind of been watching, waiting for whoever these resistance folks are to come and sit down at. It seems to be a mix of like laborers and maybe ex-military. Hard to say. One of them is like older. You would say old, like fully grayed out, close crop beard, etc. The others mostly seem to be younger again, like splits between actively coming off shift at like a factory and maybe working as a bouncer or something else like that. But they're coming to sit down at the table. And before you interact with them, I think we will take our break. We'll come back like 10 after, but don't go Hello and welcome back to session 5 of Infinite Fantasy. Excuse me. The bar has just filled up. These resistance members have come and sat down. And I believe Zed and Roscoe at least were going to go and approach them.
Yes.
Yes.
Excuse me. You guys make your way across the bar over to where they're sitting. There's a bit of a pause as you are walking up, and they're all like chatting amongst themselves. They notice the two of you like clearly heading in their direction. So there's a bit of a pause as they like stop talking and all like turn to put their focus on you as you walk up. Clearly, this older guy is the like their de facto leader because a couple of them are like glancing over at him and then at you guys.
Roscoe's
I
never
think-
been as good at introductions, I don't think. As
think-
Zed.
Yeah, Zed says, good evening. Is it a bunch of, like, are they all men? Before he says gentlemen.
Well, it's a mixed group.
God damn it. There's like a good evening, friends. We were told by a credible source that we should perhaps make your acquaintance. And Zed will stop short of like sitting down at the table, but will like stop there.
Okay.
To see what we do. They do.
This older guy, like, well, a lot of people want to make our acquaintance. Why should we want to make yours?
Well, I think we're in the same business. And Zed will. What's the town that my cell is from? I never remember this because I didn't write it down in this book. Hang on, let me see if I wrote it in my journal part up here. He will say whatever that town's name is. He says, we've traveled from that town to see what is happening in Imperial Odelheim. And he really like lays on thick the like disdain in Imperial.
Okay. He looks at you, kind of nodding. He looks over at Roscoe and says, "What are you doing with him?"
Zed Zed like affects the most surprised look that he's ever done and said, "Him? We've been working together for nearly a decade."
There's a couple looks that are exchanged. Look over at the guy, at the leader, then back at you, over at Roscoe. You're talking about the Golden Boy, Technical Officer, Turncoat, the
Zed
only child of a family, Odelheim military lineage, to go and work for them. This is Roscoe Gabont, is it not?
Zed looks
I
Roscoe
see
up
that
and
my
down.
reputation precedes me.
Says, "Why, Roscoe? You are Roscoe. I would never have been able to tell." And he like turns back and says, "Well, yes. Sometimes the best way to be undiscovered is to be so violently hated." And he kind of like he's only looking at this old guy because
Yeah.
firstly he's like, he doesn't want to give anything away because these could just be people that are like, we are the resistance. So like
Right.
he doesn't even know that they have anything that he needs.
You kind of make a persuasion check though. See how convincing you are.
16.
Looks like it was going to be a 20 for so long on my screen.
I don't remember the last time I crit in this game.
I'm not sure you have. Maybe it was during the
Yeah, it feels
our
like it.
intro.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He looks over at Roscoe and says,
If he looks
This-
at Roscoe,
Yeah.
and makes eye contact with Roscoe,
"Yeah, for sure."
Roscoe is very pointedly not breaking eye contact with him.
You feel like you've seen this guy before, like old enough to maybe be adjacently associated with your dad, but not so much that you place him either. But he will say, "Does Vermont know you're back in town?"
I hope not.
"Well, you're welcome to sit. I'll at least hear you out, I suppose." And one of the
Zed
other
takes
guys
that
is
as
like,
a
he's like, "Boss, we should just kick these guys out." And he raises a hand up, gestures for you to sit down.
Zed takes a seat and waits for Roscoe to sit as well. Like
Yeah,
Zed really
Roscoe.
wants to ensure that these people know that like Roscoe is like that Zed is like partners with Roscoe at this moment. Whether that is true the rest of the time, who knows? But like he wants to make sure that they're like, well, we are waiting for like both of us to be involved in this. And then he says, we're just looking for any information that like-minded individuals might have about any potential Imperial activity in the Fields of Fire.
Fields of Fire, yeah.
Okay. He nods and he thinks about it and says, "Well, first of all, this is James." He'll hold his hand out towards Zed, not towards Roscoe.
Zed extends his hand and says, feel.
Okay. He does that like very toxic thing where he's like gonna like try to crush your hand. Like, do you try to crush back kind of thing?
No, I will. Zed will like shake his hand in a normal way, and if this guy's like, I'm gonna crush your hand, Zed will be like, okay, my hand's gonna get crushed. I'm gonna have to healing word my hand. That's fine.
Yeah, it's not like you're taking damage or anything, but he's like squeezing way hard, and it's just like, okay, this guy, not like fighter, and that's like his thought process.
Mm-hmm.
He's just trying to size you up to gauge you.
Do I see like the flex
The flex?
of like trying to?
Yeah. Yeah, and this is like this
Right.
guy is probably in his late 60s, but like very buff nonetheless. Just like going for the arm flex.
After he gets done doing that, Roscoe will take a seat. Well, you know who I am. But still, I think we could at least manage a handshake sitting at the same table talking about what we're going to talk about.
He looks at you. He just says, "I don't shake hands with Imperial soldiers, fake or otherwise."
Zed says, "Oh, it's odd because you shake hands like one." As he like wrings his hand out a little bit.
He looks over at you. Well, doesn't really hurt me to tell you anything, so I guess at least I can share. We know that the Imperials have a facility out there. Research. Not really important to us. Not a lot of just some guards. Maybe a little bit more than you would expect. But it's a remote facility. Not really, nobody lives out there. Not really concern. In the broader scheme of things, anyways, we have more immediate issues. You want to go out there, do something to it?
Zed says, do you know how they get supplies in and out? Is it airship?
They have a train that runs.
Train.
Imperial only. Splits off from the main line. They send some shipments from here, there, every week or so. Just resupply. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Is it regular?
About once a week.
Where does the train depart from?
Train yard down here. The Imperials run one of their own platforms. Not just for that, but for all their specific things. It's a little bit hard to get into.
It's comparable in security to most facilities, I assume.
I wouldn't have thought it to be very unusual, except for the fact that you're asking me about it. I don't know why.
Well, it's probable that the less you know, the better. Zed thinks about it for a second because he's like, realistically, he should do something reciprocal to like help these people. But the extent to which this guy is like, kind of just not someone he wants to help. Like, he's thinking about it. He goes, "Is there anything we could do for you while we're in town?" As some of us, and he kind of like looks at Roscoe with a slight smile and says, "Some of us are unknown to the locals."
Unless, of course, you wish not to associate more with an Imperial soldier, fake or otherwise.
Kind of looks at you and says, "I'll never turn down an asset if it's there."
You are an acquaintance of my father, then.
We used to work together. It was a subordinate for Braille. He'll say, "Well, there's many things you could do for me. Depends on how much attention your wound. Skill set you have. Governor Cadron has many spies, especially of late. Forgive me if I'm particularly wary. It would be incredible if he were to be removed from the picture, but I understand that is a very big ask. However, we're just speaking in hypotheticals, of course. Other than that, could always use more supplies, weapons, other equipment at the two of you. But I suspect you don't have a lot on you at the moment. Let me think again. I don't know what you need this information about the facility for, but of course, if you're willing to share what you find, that would be appreciated. Other than that,
Zed nods and says, "If our path leads us back here, we can reconvene and happily tell you what we find at the facility. And I'll look into your problems."
you know, you can do something about the governor's spies. Bring me anybody to interrogate, or do something about the governor himself, then I'd be happy to outfit you with supplies for any expedition. Chocobos, guides, rations, people who know the area. That sort of thing. Maybe it could even get you on a train. Whether you'd want to go on that way.
Zed nods and like leaves enough gill on the table for them all to like drink for the rest of the night, whatever they seem to be drinking, and says, "I have some thoughts for dealing with your governor issues." But then we'll like stand up and look to Roscoe.
Oh yeah, Roscoe will stand. We'll give the older guy a look again. Well, can't say it's been a pleasure. But since it seems you frequent here, if you should wish, in the next few days, I am going to have a return bout downstairs. Feel free to bet against me.
He nods. You part ways with this group. Heading back to your table, you Roscoe, you do notice in the time that you've let and had this conversation come back, there is a person that you recognize at the bar who is not Mongogo. You know, tall, similar complexion to you, a little bit younger, female.
We'll approach them, saying, "That was incredibly fast."
They say, well, brother, I haven't seen you in a long time. And as much as it pains me, the mail system is very good here. I took the first train I could get on. tell me where you'd be.
Roscoe will look Adusa up and down, and somewhat awkwardly will like open arms up enough that it could be taken as an invitation for a hug, but can also be withdrawn quick enough to look like he was stretching.
Okay, so you're like, ugh. She sees that and she's gonna just like, where's she?
Is this the same
did you
section of the
walk-
bar that Stylus has been sitting at all,
Also,
like waiting for y'all to return?
did you walk over from the thing that you were at with Zed? So Zed has just followed you to this and is now awkwardly standing there.
Well, couldn't tell Zed to follow him, but
I think
We
what
were walking
happened
back
was-
together.
I think what happened was like you guys got to the table and then Roscoe
Okay.
immediately like veered off, like before sitting down.
pretty much, yeah.
Then Zed is at the table.
She goes to punch you. Like you start to stretch, and she takes that as an opportunity to hit you in your solar plexus with like a low, like a quick jab.
Then I'll turn the stretch into a quick flex to get the abs, like pop the abs, like.
There's it definitely hurts, but you do take it. Much just feels like training. One of the not the owner who you talked to previously, but one of the bartenders is like, hey, fights downstairs.
You don't want her fighting down there. Should win. Much too often. Good form.
She shakes her head, and she's gonna kind of like peer over you. Is this the crowd that you running with now?
We're at the table.
Yeah,
of
pointing at the
people.
table where like Zed and everybody else is at.
Like, yes.
You thought coming here was a good idea?
We have business.
Business. What kind of business? You just gonna come back in town and tell me that you have business and we should meet up? That's it?
Well, it had been some time since I've seen you. It had been some time since you had attempted to punch me. This time you actually succeeded. Which good job.
You left yourself open.
Yes.
You're getting a little old.
Which is they being a little old.
You're getting a little old, she says.
Oh. Immediate outrage.
Roscoe goes into a trance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
she says,
maybe
I
getting
didn't-
old, but at least I'm not graying early.
She like pushes some of the hair out of her face with a like blowing on it. She says, I didn't tell anybody else, but I'm sure that Mom would love to speak with you. She didn't really leave the family house anymore. So you'd have to deal with
think I'll
Dad.
have- Yes, I don't think I have time for that necessarily.
She kind of looks over. She says, Albert works with some of those people you were just talking with.
Works how?
Well, it's not business. You know?
She's gonna stop it there.
Yeah, that's. I mean, unless you have a follow-up question, she just says it's not really my
Okay.
business. I know what he does, but I don't know. Or I know like about what he's doing, but I don't know what he does. Is the kind of vibe.
Well, if he's working with them, it may be that we're in adjacent lines of work these days.
He's gonna make an insight check. Can you make me a persuasion check?
Whale.
You're not that convincing, really, but I think she knows you well enough to kind of nod. She says, "You finally realized how stupid you've been? Is that it? Saw something that made you do something you didn't want to do?"
He goes to say something about the first part, similarly getting outraged at the old comment. His mouth kind of clicks shut at the second part. But we'll just give a nod at that.
I could be mad at you, but I suppose doing the right thing late is better than not doing the right thing at all. Why don't you introduce me to your friends, and we'll catch up and talk about the rest of the stuff for today. You're staying for a while, right?
A few days. I might be out of town for one of them, but I'll be back. Yeah, I'll introduce you. Also, if you weren't mad at me, why did you punch me?
Because you deserved it.
Yeah. Oh, like gesture over. Roscoe will lead Adusa over to the table.
Yeah, you guys see.
Thank-
Sorry, go ahead.
Zed quickly ran through what the guy whose name I didn't even write down, and Zed has already forgotten.
It was
Told
Jameis
them
with an
Jameis.
I. Yeah.
it's fine. Zed's never going to want to retain that information. Like run through very quickly, like what he talked about in terms of the train leaving, and Zed's like, "Well, we can follow the train tracks. They will always leave the facility, so we're not going to be struggling as much for that. But maybe we should leave the day after the train leaves, or the day after the train comes back, so we have more time to travel." And then is like talking to Agatha in like hushed kind of whispers. And I will message Kristen about it.
Okay. Yes. So all of you see a Roscoe returns with a woman, very clearly like related to him in some way, shape, or form, but about 10 years younger, and maybe 6 inches shorter. So still very tall, but especially for a woman, but not quite as tall as Roscoe, for sure. Kind of very professional looking. Not sure what she does for work at the moment, but if she's like a laborer, definitely very like cleaned up before she came, but kind of has more of the look of like military soldier type. Also wearing a sleeveless shirt because and is quite muscular as well. For the sake of Zed, who tends to ask this question, I'm gonna say attractive, but in like a bodybuilder sort of way. So not for
Oh,
everybody.
attractive.
Sure. Yeah. Right. Some people, it might be too much.
Zed is like unsure of the people here, so he is a bit more in his like, I'm just a wandering like performer mode. But like seeing the family connection clearly between Roscoe and this woman, he does not even like give her an up and down appraising look that he would do to most people to try and like sell the idea that he's like this womanizing traveler.
Adusa, this is the Gathered Band of Misfits. This is my sister Adusa.
All right.
He
Hello.
nods, like looking over the very eclectic group.
Am I taller than her?
How tall are you again?
6 foot.
Yes, you are taller than her. I think she's like
Alright.
5'10". Because Roscoe, you're like 6'4", right?
Yeah, it's like this for.
Yeah. So she's a little bit, not quite hitting 6 foot.
There simply must be a more concise way to say that, Roscoe.
Probably.
Mhm.
She'll take a seat, kind of kick out a chair, like a spare chair for her.
She flips
I
it
was
around.
gonna kick out a chair.
She flips it around
She's
to sit like
oh my
like
Two
hugging
chairs
the
kicked
chair. Yeah, at the same time. No, she'll flip one of them around to sit down, like like hugging the back. Type, and she says, "So, has my big brother been giving you a lot of trouble, like he does everybody else?"
Silas grins, like he's gonna start off on that story. Like he gives Roscoe that look, like that he has a story to tell her, but he doesn't actually say anything. He's just kind of smiling.
you aren't being consistently late to meetings. Not really?
It's getting more responsible in your old age.
Well, the implication is being consistently late is an improvement.
At least it's consistent.
Yeah, consistently late means you show up. That's good.
To be fair, I feel
If
like
there is,
if there's
well,
been,
Silas will give in and tell the story about, oh, well, we met with his fist to my face.
as I mean most people, and to be fair, if it's trouble regarding, I feel like it's more reciprocal.
She says,
Later.
what brings you all to Starvio? If you don't mind me asking, maybe I can help somehow. Roscoe's very vague, but that's fine.
And Zed looks at her and it's like,
You need a place to stay? Anything?
it says, in a manner of speaking, we're on a mission from God.
She flicks a nutshell at you. There's like they have like peanuts and maybe like randomly like walnuts at the tables. So she just flicks a
Cool.
shell at you as you say that.
Zed is hit by a nutshell.
Shakes her head.
Then you have a missionary now.
That I don't.
Zed laughs.
What's this god's name?
I wouldn't say
I think
it.
Zed's never considered that he doesn't know what the Esper's name is. And there's a genuine moment where he's like, what is this Esper's name? And he says, they're not one to divulge that kind of information, it seems.
Well, there's an old boarding house friend of mine owns it. If you need a place to stay, you probably stay there for free. I can tell you it's nice, but a couple beds at least.
That
Or you can
would
buy yourself a
certainly be helpful.
hotel. There's plenty of places. She'll scribble down an address and slide it. At first, like she's gonna go slide it to Roscoe, but then we'll instead slide it to Zed, who she kind of implicitly seems to understand is the of the two of them, like quote unquote, the more responsible type.
This Ray's persona's failing if he's coming up as responsible.
Well, just in comparison to
no,
her brother.
He says, he looks at it and says, and we look into it. What is it you do with yourself? That you
Well, lately, mostly boxing, and before the occupation, I was military, just like the rest of the family.
You're a
Except
boxer
for,
now.
Of course, Roscoe. Well, you know, pays the bills. People like a legacy fighter. That's what Mongogo says, anyways. He kind of goes, "Hey, yeah, I didn't, you know, what's that?
Also,
What's
like
it
full
called?
swivel turns to Mongogo for keeping this information from him.
He kind of says, whoa, you know, employer, client privilege, as they say."
Are you trying to replace me with my own sister?
That's a thing, right? He kind of whispers over at Asta, "That's a thing, right?"
I mean, not in this instance.
hold on. You can
replace
always
is a
choose to
strong
be
word.
confidential.
Yeah. Place is a strong word.
No legality to
You
it.
came over here, but I figured you were doing other things. It didn't need to come up.
I think Roscoe will squint at him and then looking towards Adusa. Well, then I guess, how has it been being my legacy?
Shakes her head. Not great, but you know, somebody had to claw back the reputation of the family. On my off days, you know, mostly just take care of mom and dad. They're getting pretty old. Albert's too busy doing other things, so I'd offer rooms, you know, at the family house, but it's not exactly in the city.
Oh,
You'd have to talk to Dad. So,
speaking of Al, let's ignore that. You mentioned that he's in contact
similar
and
line of work.
similar line of work
Sure.
to the table over there. We'll look at
Yeah.
Zed.
That's right. They are. What do they call themselves? The Rust Core, something stupid. Trying to corrode
Zed-
the empire from within.
Full laughs and says, it's always something like that. And he kind of, as an aside to Silas and Agatha, like, it's always something like that. It's like they spend more time thinking up the witty name than thinking up how they're actually going to do the thing that they need to do.
He's in and out of the city. Sometimes comes home, sometimes not. We keep in contact, mostly by mail, unless he's at the house. but he's supposed to be coming home soon. I'll talk to him. Might be able to convince him that you've changed.
Let's not get too hasty about.
Well.
Besides, I'm mostly sure that if I saw my brother again, that he would, well, I think we would come to blows.
Yeah, but I mean, that's
Like-
just
Likely immediately.
that's how it always was, even beforehand. It's been a long time.
And I haven't changed that much. Just course corrected a small bit. Still a 5-time
Wow.
champ. Something that you'll have to, build up to.
She looks over at Mongogo. She's actually the Golden Glove 3 years running.
Pretty impressive.
Well, they give rings for those.
Actually, they have gold gloves now. It's like a spray paint, but still.
The next time there's a lull, Silas like leans into to Zed and says, "Yeah, the names and the planning. The kids like to drop, album covers and band names. It seems like the same sort of thing. They don't actually get around to playing the music. They just plan for it."
Yes, probably very similar. He's like watching the interaction between Ajusa and Roscoe a bit more intently than he'd normally watch an interaction. Partly because the stuff about your brother is interesting, and he's like, "Well, can we leverage this in any way?" But also because like he recognizes that this is a fraud thing for Roscoe, and he says, Mongogo, I don't suppose your idea for who Roscoe could fight in a couple of days. And Zed will leave the question unsaid about whether he was going to set up these two to fight each other.
He kind of is like the face that he gives is hadn't thought about it, thinking about it a lot. That no, you can't. Even if you're the former champ, you got to work your way back up. Roscoe's been out of this a long time. I figured, Diesel's back in town.
Oh, fuck me.
But he's got a little soft, in the midsection. So might be a good matchup.
Silas just moves his chair so he is no longer like in any sort of like range between Mongogo and Roscoe.
Yeah, maybe a good matchup 10 years ago.
You saying that you've improved?
I'm saying that you thought I was in my prime back then. But now,
Okay.
well,
Okay. It's like kind of not. He says, it's like, all right. We also do very. This one's a little bit. The normal fights are underground, as it were, but we also have some illegal fighting. They the organizers, they know a guy who can get monsters in. And it's a crowd pleaser.
Are we in that? Roscoe would say to Adusa, mid Mongogo speaking, that he thought everything here was illegal.
It's the normal parts are illegal in the sense that they're mainly doing tax evasion.
Roscoe will
These fights are
rub his
illegal
chin,
because
rub
it's
his
like
goatee. Yeah,
animal human fights. Not quite that bad because they're monsters, but you know. It's not legal to bring a monster into the city. Normal.
considering my work in the area, probably best to avoid the latter.
He nods. But I'll still listen, Cuckoo. I'll take care of everything.
Fucking Diesel. Takes a drink.
Um,
Good friend of yours.
I think with that, Adusa will hang out at the bar, keep talking with you, just like catching you up on everything that's happening with your parents. Again, they're not in the best of health. You know, they're like, your mom's 68, your dad's 73. Like, they're getting up there in age. Your dad's in better health than your mom, but also is kind of a recluse. So she just kind of talks about that. Not a ton new because you still exchange letters here and there. But I think otherwise, we kind of, unless anybody wanted to try to talk to anybody else, go down to the fight area. I think we'll kind of move on to Medusa will set you up in the boarding house, each getting you like a room. It's like it's like a cheap motel style of a boarding house, but they do long-term stays as well. So really, the only difference.
Yeah, Roscoe would ask the group, but also direct more of it towards Zed if he wanted to do the boarding house thing or set up our own accommodations, and would just, and if he, in case he needed to, imply to Zed that he did trust like Medusa.
Yeah, I think Zed is inclined towards the boarding house because it's money that they don't have to spend. Like, he knows that he can afford it. He doesn't know what like state other people are in money wise to like just pay for a hotel. But he seems a little bit distracted a lot of the time. Like for the rest of the evening, like he's percolating on a plan for something.
I think then that we might actually wrap up here, unless somebody had something in particular they wanted to do. Pick up. There's gonna be a bit of a break, but we'll pick up with you guys, kicking things off in your plans to, get to the Imperial facility and do things in whatever you need to do in Sarviel to get there. And we can like offline do some RP in the intervening weeks to see what the plan is. But
Makes sense.
Yeah.
we'll say goodbye for now, and we will see you all next time.